This is not a Disney film. This is The Mousetrap. Which is directed by Jamie Bailey, written by Simon Phillips, and stars Sophie McIntosh as Alex, who's ready to celebrate her 21st birthday, but she's stuck at work at an arcade, entertaining kids that really don't respect her, and her boss wants her to stay late to entertain a late party. Oh yeah, I sure love those late night parties, and those late night customers that come in and make you stay longer than you want to stay at your shift. She has a coworker that really doesn't seem to know all that much about her, but well, they have such a great camaraderie that this coworker wants to dip off and go somewhere else, and Alex doesn't know what the hell she's gonna do, just wants to celebrate her 21st birthday, and a bunch of friends show up, and they want to entertain her with a surprise birthday party. We find out a few things about this particular group of friends, and also there's somebody that is riding around in a Mickey Mouse mask. That's right. Once again, another character has entered the public domain after Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and Blood and Honey 2, Electric. How the hell did we do another one of these? Boogaloo? Mickey Mouse's Steamboat Willie has entered the public domain. We know this because we see Steamboat Willie a few times, a few clips of it, and also it's referenced quite a bit during this 80-minute runtime. So yes, somebody in a Mickey Mouse mask is killing people, eventually. Kinda. At least that was the intention of this movie, so yeah. If anybody saw the trailer for this, if anybody knew this movie was coming out, here's what you can expect when it comes to a movie like this. It's either going to be an incredibly cheap cash grab where you're going to wonder what the fuck anybody was thinking. Oh, let's just get some people together and make a movie for a quick buck. Or you can get something mildly entertaining. And I wonder if you can guess what category this falls under. It falls under the first one. This is terrible. This is abysmal. This is one of the worst horror movies of the goddamn decade by far. I'm sure everybody tried, and I'm sure there was at least an idea to put effort into this, but I don't know what the fuck thought was put into this, but they really should have tried with more, because there wasn't any goddamn semblance of entertainment. If this was supposed to be a comedy horror, it failed at the comedy. It definitely failed at the horror. And for something that was falling under the slasher genre, boy, it sure didn't have a lot of slashing. At least until, I don't know, almost the very end of the goddamn movie. Featured some of the worst goddamn CGI I have seen in a while. And yes, I know the budget was low. The budget was maybe 50 grand. In fact, I'd be very surprised if it was even that. Whatever, you stretch every dollar that you can. Everybody's got to start somewhere. Good on the cast for getting booked. And hopefully the cast can do other things. But this was just absolutely abysmal. I can't even begin to describe just how bad this was. For something that was supposed to have slashings, there were a lot of off-screen killings. At least go for broke and have a little bit of fun with it. This didn't even have a crumb of fun to it. And also, the story, what little there was all over the goddamn place. We have Rebecca, played by Mackenzie Mills, who, according to her social media, because I wanted to find out a little bit more about this cast, she apparently is very, very much gay. And if you have a problem with gay people, fuck off, fuck the hell off. What the hell are you doing being bigoted like that? She plays somebody that is being interrogated by two cops. And apparently the walls were taken from like some discount Halloween cave. I mean, I don't know how to describe those goddamn... Man, it was like bad stucco. She's telling the story, and we find out how this person in this Mickey Mouse mask came to be and what's going on. And yeah, for something that was supposed to be entertaining, it wasn't. Very, very terrible. Very cheap. Not very good acting. Again, I get it. It's a cheap horror movie. I don't expect Oscar-worthy performances, Emmy-worthy, or even stuff where it seems like everybody might not seem like they suffered several major head injuries. In fact, I almost want people to suffer several major head injuries before they get on screen, because otherwise I can't explain any of this line reading. It's actually astonishing that these are the takes they went with. If there were busted takes, my God, how bad were they? Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Gravitas Features does it again. If you know anything about them, at times they'll have a few things that are all right, but Jesus goddamn Christ. 1000% dog shit. Not even the worst thing I've seen this year. Not even close. Divorce in the Black is way worse than this. But for something that should have been at least a mildly fun cash grab. I hated the Winnie the Pooh horror movie. At least that had a cool storybook opening. And this has a bunch of, a bunch of guys that are, one that's nerdy, a couple that are jocks, a bunch of pretty young girls that are, they're going to be the slasher victims and stuff like that. So yeah, it has all the ingredients of being some fun little slasher, but no, it also wants to have the meta commentary, where if this was a horror movie, saying "I'll be right back" wouldn't work for you. Ha 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 ha. So yeah, also Simon Phillips, in addition to writing this, also played Mickey. And Jamie Bailey, in addition to directing, also did the cinematography. So they both failed on both fronts. Good job there. My God, when a movie's bad, it's got to be called out. It's really got to be called out. Some of the worst CGI. There were a couple CGI deaths in this, and I'm like, really? You couldn't have afforded to make that look a little bit less fake? And even when the killings start, you don't care. There's very little reason given for any of these characters to even exist. And whatever. It's fun. Whatever. You can't expect much from a movie like this. But even if you expect nothing, you will get less. That is saying something. So, yeah, that's about all I have to say. It's on Amazon for a few bucks. I did pay to see this because even if a movie is absolute dog shit, I'm going to throw a few bucks towards it and not pirate it. That's just how I am. So, yeah, really, really bad. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. So, we started with a scrolling text thing like Star Wars where they said, we respect Disney and all their, subsidiaries, and they wanted nothing to do with us. We did this, ha ha ha. They're in the public this is in the public domain, and we're making fun of this and everything. And it went on about, I'd say about 4 paragraphs longer than it needed to. I mean, really, really bad. Really not funny. The budget might not have been 50 grand. It might have been 10 grand. So Rebecca's the sole survivor, apparently. She's talking about all this. Once you know, you can't unknow. Yeah, I kind of wish I could unknow this movie. The Steamboat Willie clip. See, again, Steamboat Willie creepiness. Having a Mickey Mouse mask killer isn't the worst idea with enough fun behind it. This doesn't even have a little bit of fun behind it. So, yeah, Tim's the manager, asked a couple to stay, including Alex. Jana's the other, or Jana, whatever. She's, asking them to stay. They're gonna because there's a surprise birthday party. Jana decides to go off on a date. It turns out that this surprise party is by Alex's friends, including a guy named Ryan that's a bit of a jock. There's a guy, Marcus, a bit of a nerdy guy that really likes her. Ryan is an idiot. This is fucking dreadful, is what I noted. There was even talk of like, if you get girls drunk or whatever, they'll do what you want. That's not what you do. That if you got to get somebody drunk to do that, you're a creep. So then there's members of the hockey team that Ryan's part of. Apparently, they're at an adjacent bar, and by adjacent, I think it was the same set. They just filmed it on a different day or in a different hour. Or maybe they took 30 minutes and said, everybody clear out. Let's just shoot really, really tight on this goddamn bar. They're talking about, okay, he wants to get with Alex. We need to take out this guy, Marcus. And, yeah, there you are. Oh, the idea also, instead of being on your phones, is to put them all in a bag and just have fun drinking. That's a good thing to do. By the way, you want to know how Mickey actually came to be? Tim was watching Steamboat Willie. He has a or maybe, I assume it's a replica. Maybe it's a real thing. I don't fucking know. I don't really care. A Mickey Mouse mask, vintage 1928. And suddenly, Mickey Mouse, Steamboat Willie, just disappears from the film. Disappears from the little reel. And says, do you want to see what I see? Do you want to do this? And possesses him. No, really, he possesses him from the goddamn film. See, now, that sounds funny. It's not, though. This movie treats itself way too seriously for the material. A couple gets killed off screen. eventually we see them. Their bodies are chained up to a door. Rebecca, the character is gay, true to life. Okay, you know what? Nothing wrong with that. Again, you have a problem with LGBTQ people. What the fuck? But then the idea, okay, people are dead. Wait, let's split up and let's figure this out, because now they're chained in. They're all chained in. They don't know how the hell they're going to get how the hell they're going to get out. And he's teleporting. Mickey's teleporting. Why? Movie. I don't know. But the strobe light effect can stop him because it's like a flickering film. I guess. I don't think the filmmaker's goddamn news, so let's just roll with it. It's fine. Marcus, meanwhile, came up with this bright idea because Alex loves goddamn sour candy. He got her a bunch of sour candy from all around the world. Statues crumble for him. How'd he get this? Who the fuck cares? You want to make this memorable, she says to Marcus? Ask me out. Apparently she likes him. She feigned possibly maybe being gay because she didn't want to deal with Ryan, but she wanted to deal with Marcus, I guess. Also, Rebecca likes Alex. So Mickey then is on the phone when Alex tries calling and tries to sound like Ghostface. Not a Ghostface killer, just Ghostface. Like somebody cosplaying as Ghostface. Ironic for somebody that dresses up like a killer. And yeah, he just shows up and attacks a hockey team because he can teleport. He kills the guys at the bar, high sticking them. For again, a comedy slasher, not a lot of blood, and even then when they get to the blood, it gets silly. There's a girl playing VR, and she keeps getting messed with, and then she eventually dies. Whatever. And then another guy, while high, is going around this weird roller coaster roller coaster type thing that they somehow managed to fit in this arcade. I don't get it. He's being carnival ridden to death. And Rebecca keeps talking about all this stuff like, well, I was in laser tag all this time, but I was told all this stuff. That's how I can tell you. And also all the footage happens to be conveniently erased. They want to pull the fire alarm now. Well, Rebecca got her ankle slashed and another guy got killed. Is what it is. I don't really understand why in the world like any of this is happening. None of it matters. It's all terrible. Then, about 10 minutes left in this movie, they manage to kind of trap him a little bit with the light so he can't teleport. And one of them hits him with a bat, I think it's Ryan. And then they trap him with a goddamn chair. And if they kept the strobe light on, they would have been able to beat him about the head and face, and that's it. But then he disappears. Jana shows back up and gets killed. And then Ryan suddenly does what he does. You know, he just, after that, he's like, well, I got my leg busted, but let's go, take care of this. Let's get in the laser tag. They get into the laser tag thing and strobe light him to death and start beating him up. But then the lights get messed up because apparently he can control the horizontal and the vertical. And then he ends up disappearing, just disappears. This, by the way, was after they had trapped him when Alex had made a deal and said, you want to play hide and seek again? Because that's the game he was playing. You can find me in laser tag within 5 minutes, or otherwise you let us go. So they trap him, but then the lights stop strobing. He disappears, and Rebecca says, well, that's almost the end. We cut back, and boom, Alex gets her head cut off in one of the fakest ways possible. Faker than when one guy got a knife jammed into his goddamn head. It looked like Windows 95 Movie Maker did this. And yeah, that's it. Alex got decapitated. Mark is like, I never got to ask her out. Y'all were doomed anyway. You would have had stupid goddamn children. And yeah, there you go. That's the end of that. We smash cut to the end. And then we get a post-credit scene where Rebecca is greeted by Mickey. We have so much left to do. We're just getting started. Don't you fucking think that you can do a sequel. What the fuck was this supposed to be? It wasn't comedic. Just bad comedy. It wasn't horror, just really bad horror. This was an amalgamation of everything wrong with cash-in horror. You can have cash-in horror while still having fun. This wasn't fun. F. Terrible. Agree, disagree with what I said? Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Riplin. I'll see you soon.